It's time to break down some football.
We got to get our mind right. Touchdown, win.
From the perspective of guys who played in the NFL.
Caught, touchdown!
And a guy who had one really great sack in high school.
Oh, you're so weak. You're a waste of my time.
Greg Camarillo and Marcus McNeil are the pros, and Skraby is the Joe.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Two Pros and a Joe starts right now.
I can't believe it, guys, but we are back. Two Pros and a Joe. It's been so long since the three of us have gotten together. I am pumped up. The NFL season is in full swing, and we are going to do something today. And we're going to release, actually, this week, we're going to release two separate podcasts. And so we're going to have two separate topics that we're going to talk about. So you're going to get two offerings from us this week. And we're going to try to see if that works better going forward, to kind of give you a chance to listen to it all throughout the week. And if you want to follow us all on social media, you can. We got Greg Camarillo at Catch Camarillo on Twitter, at Marcus McNeil 73 on Twitter, at Matt Skraby right here, at the number 2 Pros and a Joe on Twitter. And just for everybody who might be tuning in for the first time, Greg Camarillo, 8 years in the NFL with the Chargers, Dolphins, Saints, and Vikings as a wide receiver. And Marcus McNeil, 6 years with the Chargers at left tackle, blocking for Phillip Rivers' blind side. And me, one really great sack in high school. That's what it's all about.
The best sack.
All about. So I thought it would be really interesting to get our first podcast of the season going with the topic of the vaccination rules in the NFL, because it is a hot topic, obviously, all over the country. But inside the NFL and inside the locker rooms, I know that you guys are going to have thoughts about how people will feel about that. And just to really kind of sum it all up quickly, basically, vaccinated players are being treated differently than unvaccinated players. And unvaccinated players, I guess, have to jump through more hoops when they do test positive than the vaccinated players do. And it's caused a big hubbub just because Cam Newton was released from the Patriots. And a lot of people think that he was released from the Patriots because he was unvaccinated. And Bill Belichick came out and said, no, that's not true. Urban Meyer saying, basically admitting that he cut people because they were unvaccinated. And so a lot of people were unhappy with that. So we're going to go into that. But anyway, first up, guys, how are you both doing? Greg, Marcus, what's going on?
Scrapes, good to see you, man. Marcus, good to see you. It's been too long, but I'm glad to be back with my other Pro and my other Joe.
Man, hey, it's good to see you, G. You know what I'm saying? Scrapes, I missed y'all, man. I can't believe it's been this long. But
I know.
Hey, I'm pumped up too. I might not be as pumped up as you, Scrape, but hey, I'm ready to
go. Hey, someone's got to be pumped up on this show. So let's just jump right into it. What do you guys think about how the NFL has their current vaccination rules set up? And let's just start with that. Like, how do you think that they're setting things up? Do you think it's fair? Do you think it's unfair? And where would you stand if you were playing in the NFL right now? And I guess we'll start with Marcus.
Man, I gotta ride with my boy Cam right now, because he came out this past week and said he felt like he was bamboozled. You know, and I can understand why. You know, he talked about how he knew he had to go get a second opinion to the doctor. He checked it with the Patriots and everything was supposed to be cool. And then all of a sudden, when he comes back, now all of a sudden he broke these rules. Like, that seems like they were setting it up for him to fail. And I think that's what he meant when he said, I'm being bamboozled. But he ain't got to feel bad about it, because we got Bill Belichick, right, and Nick Saban quarterback. If we know anything, we know Nick Saban and Bill Belichick are on the same accord, you know. So for that to be an Alabama quarterback going up there to the Pats, you know, I really felt like Mac Jones already had one up on Cam in that situation.
But do you feel, I guess, well, go ahead, Greg. What's your thoughts on the whole situation? Then we'll go further on that.
All right. Well, let me dive into the situation in general, and then we can focus on Cam Newton.
Sure.
So the situation in general, love what the NFL is doing. I'm a personal believer that the NFL is setting the tone for what society should be doing. Last year, they kept the season alive when the United States was falling apart. We couldn't even go to a movie theater and the NFL was playing games. So they're a step ahead of everybody. But the mentality is, with a team of 53 people plus practice squad, what can I do for the team? It's not about me, it's about the we. So what do I need to do to put us in the best position to win? And that's get vaccinated, because I can't miss 10 days being quarantined. I can't take the risk of getting my teammates sick. What I can do to help my team is get vaccinated so I can stay on the field the most. And we know, Marcus, you've done things in your football career that are not to the benefit of your health. You've probably taken Toradol shots. They asked me to go bust a wedge with people your size. If I was looking out for my personal health, that would have been a terrible idea. But it was about, what can I do for this team? And, Scraves and Mac, when Jerry Jones is the voice of reason, things are set straight, because he's the one that said, this is about what can I do for my team, not what can I do for myself. And I know Jerry Jones is just trying to make money. I get it. He can make his most money by having everybody healthy, everybody vaccinated and on the field.
Yeah. Go ahead, Marcus. What do you think?
I'm sorry. To be honest, I just don't feel like it's anybody's place to tell somebody what to do when it comes to their health. I'm sorry. And you're not going to convince me that because the NFL did it, Greg, that the whole world needs to go do it. Because in that case, we'll have 70 old ladies going to bust the wedge, you know what I'm saying, against 300-pound guy. That shit don't make no sense, bro. And I guess this is the thing when it comes down to it. With the vaccination, if it actually stopped you from transmitting, COVID, if it stopped you from catching COVID, then I understand why you're putting these protocols in place. But I think it's a fact that you can still catch COVID with the vaccination. You can still give it to somebody else with the vaccination. So now you're sitting here talking about whether or not I get sick, or, whether or not I get sicker than you or somebody else who didn't take the vaccination get sicker than somebody who did take the vaccination because they chose not to take it. That falls back on that person who didn't take the vaccination.
So, that is a fact. You can still get it. But the other fact is, you are way less likely to get it. You're way less likely to get sick from it. You're way less likely to spread it if you have the vaccine. And so I'm talking strictly football perspective. If you are vaccinated, you have a better chance of being on the field, and you have a better chance of not infecting anyone on the team. And if I'm a GM, if I'm a coach, if I'm making roster decisions, I'm looking at the guys that are going to be on the field the most. Granted, now, if you're Kyler Murray, if you're Russell Wilson, if you're Tom Brady, shit, I need you on the field regardless. So I don't care. I don't care what your status is. But if you're rookie Greg Camarillo trying to go bust a wedge and you're not vaccinated, well, shit, I'm going to go find somebody else that's vaccinated to go bust that wedge. So I'm looking at it strictly a football perspective. How can I keep my team on the field the most? And that's with guys that are vaccinated.
I just feel like it's a stretch, when you're asking them to do, things that they feel uncomfortable with. I think that's a little bit of a stretch right there.
I could get behind that. I can. And at the same time, you have guys like head coaches like Bruce Arians, who basically said, if you want to play on this team, you're going to be vaccinated. And I've seen a few tweets, and it was about Tom Brady, who doesn't put anything in his body that's bad for him, but he got vaccinated. And so this person was basically saying, if you don't get vaccinated and Tom Brady does, then you don't want to win. Now, I don't believe that. I don't think that, because I don't think your vaccination stance is any tie to how much you want to win. But if a coach is telling his team, you have to be vaccinated, then it puts all of those players who don't want to be vaccinated into very, very tough positions. And I think that's where it comes in to being a little, I guess, the NFL being a little bit of too much of a big brother there, because you're forcing people into it for their livelihood. And as a vaccinated person, as someone who didn't even think twice about getting the vaccine, maybe I should have, I don't know, but I wouldn't like it if I was forced to choose between my health and my job. And I think that's I just don't think that you can. I guess, make roster decisions based on vaccination status. And I totally get what you're saying, Greg. And I bet you it's happening. And I know it's happening in the NFL. It doesn't mean that I agree with it.
The sport of football is putting your health at risk. You are damaging your brain. You're damaging your body. Shit, I just had back surgery 2 months ago. Max had a shitload of surgeries. The sport, you entering the NFL is bad for your health. That is proven. To me, this is just one other aspect of it, and it's proven that it's actually beneficial for your health. To me, this is when you enter the NFL, you have sacrificed your body for your chance to go win a Super Bowl, and this is just another layer of that to me.
Oh man, it's tough. I feel like they splitting up the whole country right now. You get a vaccine, you didn't get it. It's always something, man. It's always some sort of drama. I promise you, man. Always, I just feel like kind of like you, Skraby. I feel like everybody has a right. You shouldn't have to force it on anything. What's the next step? Are you going to force something else on me? Are you going to force me to implant a chip? Or are you going to
see? That's where you lose. That's where
I don't want to go down that hole, but God, no.
Man. All right. Let's hold on. Can we go back to Cam Newton? No, because clearly we're never going to agree on this, so that's all right. So we don't need to agree on it.
Yes.
So Cam Newton, I 100% agree with Mac. Not that he was bamboozled, but that the decision was bigger than football, and it took, we saw Mac Jones play this week. He did a great job. And the guy can play in the NFL. He was a first-round pick. He's going to do fine. But if you listen to his press conference after the game, the dude is a Bill Belichick puppet. And that's what they want in New England. They want these poster boys that are not going to attract any attention. They're going to get up there and they're going to read a script of repeating everything that was said in the team meeting. And that's not what Cam Newton is. This dude is a proven MVP. This dude has a personality. This dude dresses to attract attention, and that's not what Bill Belichick is looking for. And I believe that's what had a lot to do with the decision is they were thinking, like, who is the poster child of this organization? And they wanted to go, and I'll take it all the way to the racial spot that has stayed out of the media as well, that I don't think that's what they were looking for. An outspoken black man as their quarterback. I think they wanted the person that they could try to be like Tom Brady to be the head of their team.
That is, that's a whole nother different thing that no one is really talking about. And I honestly am surprised that it's not being talked about.
I think it's because there's no like evidence. There's nothing you could, it's just opinion. I could be 100% wrong, but I think that's why people aren't talking about it.
Hey, Skraby.
Yeah.
It's hot. I'm about to grab a towel. Give me 1 second. I'm getting real fat here. Oh, man,
this is amazing.
There we go. We talk vaccines and we talk race, and it gets jumped straight into it this season.
I love it. This is how Two Pros and a Joe is supposed to jump out.
We're talking America over here. Vaccines and race.
Vaccines and race is really America right now. America is a crazy place right now. And I guess honestly, I don't have a problem with people who don't get vaccinated, but if you're the one who's going to get not get vaccinated, but then take a horse dewormer because of that, I'm out on that. Shit. I am out on that. You can have your own choice, but if you're going to put hydrochloroquine in your body and horse dewormer in your body, you might as well get the vaccine.
You might as well get the vaccine. Hey, you might as well. If you gonna put that dumb shit in your body, come on. That's just crazy as hell. That people are even thinking about doing that type of stuff.
And then you got people like Joe Rogan pushing horse dewormers. What are we doing? And we got people that are believing it. I will always let you have your opinion. As long as you don't tell me my opinion's stupid, I won't tell you your opinion's stupid. And that's basically
what to me.
What?
Yeah, you definitely a nicer man than Greg. I will say, I never had a problem wearing my mask. To me, I felt like the best thing that we can do, and not to say that the mask keep you from transmitting any type of it can stop COVID or anything. But if you're coughing, you're gonna cough in the mask. How many times have you been out and seen somebody just sneeze in the middle of the air? You're
disgusting.
I was cover your mouth, you know what I'm saying? You 40 years old, I shouldn't have to tell you to cover your mouth, so I think it just keeps a lot more germs from being transmitted, people breathing on each other. to be honest, like I like social distancing. Like
Me
I don't
too.
really want you standing
Yes!
that close to me. Like God,
The truth comes out. It took
Oh
us
no,
20 minutes
I've
to
been
get
saying it all along. I've been
Hey,
social
bro.
distancing my entire life. Just no one thought it was cool until now.
like
there.
why?
Man, hey, I want
Go
I think-
ahead.
Did we get Greg frozen? Anyway, were you about to say something, Marcus, while Greg is
No.
frozen? There he is.
Oh no, I was just about to say, like, I hate when like I'm standing there in line and like I got a cart full of food, you got a cart full of food, and now you're standing like 1 foot from me. Like, I need a little bit of space to lay this stuff out so I can get down here to the cash register. Like, why are you standing so close to me? I'm trying to cover my pen from you, and like you supposed to be back there. Like, just social distance, get away from me. Anyway,
There's actually a famous story, and it's not famous, but I told a story on the talk show, Gwynn and Chris, and I was in the 7-Eleven and there's dots on the floor. Everybody see these dots everywhere now for the 6 feet standing in line thing. This dude was not standing on his dot and he was way too close to me behind me. So I kind of gave him the look over my shoulder like, are you behind me that close? Like, what's going on here? Like, I just did that a few times. He didn't get it. So I turned around and I said, hey, can you move back to your dot, please? And he was like so dumbfounded that I even asked him to do that. He was like, oh, I didn't know it was a problem. I'm so sorry. So yes, I'll move back on the dot. Hey, everybody behind me, do you guys want to move back? And it's just like, whoa. We're supposed to be social distancing and you're in my space. I don't know how we got to this topic, but let's focus it back to the NFL. Now, inside of a locker room, how do you think this is going down? Is this something that can divide a team? Because if a couple guys get COVID and then they're unvaccinated, the NFL is going to hold them out because they're treated differently than the vaccinated players. And then you don't have enough to field a team. Then you're losing a game. And now it's impacting your record. It's impacting your ability to make a playoff check. I could see this being a divisive thing within the locker room. And what do you think, Greg?
The locker room comes down to what can you do to help me? And if you're a Pro Bowl dude and you've been helping this team out and you got to leave for 2 weeks, and you come right back and get us right back in contention. All right, if my quarterback, Kirk Cousins, is unvaccinated and we got a game that we got to win to make the wild card spot and he's not there, I'm pissed. Mm-hmm. So to me, it depends when it happens. If we're in a good spot and we can afford not to have our quarterback for 2 weeks, not a problem. If we need this game and our starting quarterback's not there, I'm mad at him.
Okay. What do you think, Marcus?
Yeah, I can see where Greg coming from, but at the same time, I think because injuries are so sporadic, I don't think I would be that pissed off because it's like, if you caught the flu and you were down and couldn't make it, unless you pull off the Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen over the shoulder, like you would still be down and you probably wouldn't make that game, So like there's other illnesses too that can keep you out from playing. So I just think because the sport of football, like you deal with injuries, you deal with illnesses, you deal with you might have mental issues that you need to deal with for a second. You might have a concussion, I just don't think that it's that necessary. And every week you go out there, we know that you're taking a gamble on the field. Like you're taking the gamble of a sprained ankle, a twisted knee, whatever. Any injury can happen to you at any given time. So I don't necessarily put COVID in a different box than, any other injury or any other thing bad that can happen to you, if you understand what I'm saying.
I do. I think COVID, I guess, would be different just because there's so many global mandates about it. And no, there's not many global mandates about a flu or anything like that, but I get what you're saying. I do. And I think it's kind of crazy in the locker room. I mean, just here, maybe at my work, we don't have any issues with anyone, but I could see if they were like, hey, you can't do this because someone is, it's just like if someone is costing me something, then I'm going to be mad because he doesn't want to get vaccinated. So I think that's how it would be. And I'm not sure how this is going to go forward in the NFL, but Greg, you want to go back to Cam Newton real quick? No big deal.
I want to hear your guys' opinions. We heard Big Mac a little bit about Cam Newton, but I'm curious to hear if you guys think it's something deeper or if it's just COVID related or if it's just performance related.
No, I agree with you. You know, we know the Patriots. It's not a secret. The Patriots are, you know, shut up and come to work type team. Cam, he's outspoken. Like he's an alpha male. He attracts attention. And Bill doesn't want that from his players. He doesn't like the individuals on his team. He likes a team player who can just like come in and do his job week in and week out. And that's not Cam. You know what I'm saying? Cam's going to get excited to go play. He going to get hyped up. He going to dance to the music. You know what I'm saying? Like he make a good play, he going to get up and put it in your face. Like that's the type of player he is. And that's why people were so excited to always watch him play. And I just want to see him get back to that Cam. I just never felt like that was honestly a good fit for him in New England. You know, like regardless of like how well he talked about Bill Belichick, we all know Bill Belichick's a great coach. We know he's a good coach. Like he has the Super Bowl rings to back it up. But at the same time, that's not the type of player that Bill Belichick breathes and to come in and out of his system. So I just knew it wasn't a fit, period. You know what I'm saying? Like black, white, or indifferent. Like if you come in and you're that type of guy, the only type of guy that I did see that had that type of personality that lasts might be Gronk. So I don't know if you want to go somewhere else with that.
I throw Randy Moss in there. Randy Moss had that me first mentality, but I mean, him and Gronk, they produce so much that whatever, do whatever you want. Scoring touchdowns like that.
I kind of agree with Marcus. I thought it was very strange when they signed him. I knew that they needed a quarterback and they had no quarterback in place and they weren't going to go with Jarrett Stidham. So they needed someone. And Cam was like, hey, I'll play for $1 million. And they're like, come on up to New England. Yep. And so he played for $1 million. He played all right. He didn't play great. He didn't play terrible, I guess. I mean, the whole team was doomed from the beginning last year. That was going to be a bad season for everyone throughout the entire year. But I do think it was very strange that Cam Newton was fighting with Mac Jones for a spot in camp. I mean, that doesn't seem like it should be like that. You have an NFL MVP with a Super Bowl appearance, and you have a rookie, and your guys are really fighting over who's going to be the starter. Like, at least in my mind, it's always Cam first. And then if he doesn't perform, then you put Mac Jones in. But they just said, you know what? Don't want to deal with the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. We're going to cut you, Cam. We're going to make Mac Jones a starter, and we're going to never look back. So that's what happened. I think the Patriot way. I hate the Patriot way so much.
Hate it. It's ugly. It works, but
nobody likes the Patriot way except for those people up in Boston.
I don't even think they like it. All right, that was it for this episode of Two Pros and a Joe. Like I said, we're going to try to do a couple episodes a week now, so I hope you enjoyed this one. Stay tuned for a couple days. We're going to put the next one out, and if you want to follow us on social media at Two Pros and a Joe, and you can follow Greg Camarillo at Catch Camarillo, Marcus at Marcus McNeil 73, and at Matt Skraby over here. And you can also email us, twoprosandajoe@gmail.com. And tell us if you're listening from out of the country. We would love to hear that, because we before we signed off the year last year, we thanked all of our international listeners, and we had some good back and forth with them. So appreciate everybody for listening, and we will be back with Two Pros and a Joe Week 1 recap in the next episode.